Good afternoon, Virgo. Some people arrive here in the middle of a plan, a trajectory they've mapped carefully, each step accounted for, each outcome considered. And then there are those who arrive here because something in the plan stopped making the sense it used to, because a feeling arrived uninvited, unscheduled, that something is about to move in a direction nobody planned for. If that feeling brought you here, then maybe the plan was never really the point. You've been prepared. That's what you do. That's what you've always done. You prepare, you anticipate, you run the scenarios quietly in the background, almost automatically, so that when things happen, you're not caught standing there with nothing to hold on to. You've learned through experience, through specific moments that taught you that being caught off guard is dangerous. That surprise in your history hasn't always meant good things. That the things you didn't see coming were sometimes the things that cost the most. And so you built the preparation into yourself deeply in the way you approach new situations, already mapping the exits, in the way you hold good things, already braced for when they change, in the way you keep always just slightly one part of yourself back. Unlaunched, uncommitted, reserved for the version of events where things don't go the way you hoped. Just in case. Always just in case. And that reservation, that held back part, has become so normal that you've stopped noticing it. It just feels like being realistic, like knowing how things work, like the natural posture of someone who has lived long enough to know that not everything holds, that not everything lasts, that the things you love most are also the things most capable of surprising you in ways that undo you. But here's what that preparation, that beautiful, exhausting, deeply practiced preparation can't actually do, can't do for you, no matter how thorough it is, no matter how many scenarios you run, no matter how many exits you map, or how much you hold back, or how carefully you manage the distance between yourself and the things that matter. It can't stop the unexpected. Not because you're not good at it, not because the preparation is flawed, but because the unexpected, by its nature, by its definition, lives outside the scenarios you've run. It exists specifically in the space between what you planned for and what actually happens. And no amount of anticipation, however sophisticated, however thorough, fully covers that space. There's always a gap. There's always the thing you didn't see coming. Always. And right now, in this particular moment, in this particular period, something is moving in that gap. You feel it, not clearly, not with the kind of definition that would let you prepare for it specifically, but as a quality of the air, a texture in the days, a sense persistent, quiet, slightly unsettling, that something is approaching from a direction you're not currently facing. And the unsettling part, the part that sent you here, isn't the approaching itself, it's the not knowing what it is. Because you can handle things when you can see them. That's what the preparation is for. That's what all the scenario running produces. The ability to handle things when they arrive in recognizable forms. But this, whatever this is, hasn't arrived in a recognizable form yet. It's still in the approaching, still in the gap, still just out of the range of the preparation. And that's where the real conversation starts. Not about what's coming, because that's unknowable right now, and sitting in the unknowable is important, but about what the approaching reveals, about what the feeling of something unexpected moving toward you says about where you are right now, about what you're holding, about what you're afraid to lose. Because the unexpected only feels threatening, only generates that particular quality of dread. When you have something at stake, when there's something in your current reality that matters enough to be disrupted, when the arrangement of your life, as imperfect as it might be, has become something you're attached to, something you've organized yourself around, something that, if moved, even moved towards something better, requires a reorganization you haven't consented to yet. And consent, internal consent, the kind nobody asks for, is the thing the unexpected never waits for. That's its defining feature. It arrives without asking. It moves things without warning. It reorganizes, sometimes gently, sometimes not. The arrangements you've made, the carefully constructed stability, the equilibrium you've worked to maintain, the version of your life that finally, after significant effort, makes a kind of sense, and something in you, the part that built the preparation, the part that runs the scenarios, is braced already. Even before the thing arrives, already holding against the impact, already constructing the response, already in the quiet of the nights, rehearsing the version of tomorrow where something shifts significantly and you have to find your footing again. But here's something worth considering, something the bracing might be preventing you from feeling. Not all unexpected things are losses. That sounds obvious. It probably feels obvious. And yet, look at the bracing. Look at the specific quality of how you're holding yourself against whatever's approaching. Look at the scenarios you've been running, quietly, automatically, in the background, and notice which direction they lean, whether they're preparing for disruption or preparing for expansion, whether they're mapping exits or mapping possibilities. Whether the approaching thing in the version your mind has been constructing is something that takes from you or something that opens for you, because the mind that learned to prepare against loss will automatically frame the unexpected as threat, even when it isn't, even when the approaching thing, the one moving in the gap, is actually moving toward you with something you've been wanting, something you've maybe stopped actively wanting because wanting it openly felt like too much exposure, like too clear a target, like too obvious a thing to lose. And so you stopped wanting it loudly, moved it to the quieter part of yourself, the part that wants things without announcing the wanting, the part that hopes persistently, privately, without letting the hope become something that could be pointed to as proof of need. But the hope is there. It's been there in the quiet part, and whatever is approaching, whatever is moving in the gap right now, might be moving toward that hope. Not toward the braced part, not toward the prepared part. Toward the quiet part, the one that wants things it hasn't said out loud. The one that's been holding carefully, privately, the version of tomorrow that looks different from today. Better, different, bigger, different. The kind of different that the preparation, for all its thoroughness, wasn't actually built to handle, because preparation is built for known threats, for recognized patterns, for the things that have happened before and could happen again. But it has no mechanism, no scenario, no exit map for the thing that has never happened to you, for the version of your life that doesn't yet exist in your experience of yourself, for the opening that requires not more preparation, but less bracing, less holding, less of the one part kept back just in case. And maybe this is the part that's hardest to sit with. Maybe what's coming requires exactly that. Not readiness in the prepared sense, but readiness in the open sense, the willingness to be, just for a moment, just at the threshold, not braced, not mapped, not holding the one part back, just present to whatever arrives, in whatever form it takes, without the scenarios running, without the exits already located, without the preparation standing between you and the full impact of something real. That's terrifying. For someone who has prepared as long as you have, that's genuinely terrifying. Not in a dramatic way, in the quiet way that real fears live, in the specific way that the thought of being caught fully without protection by something you didn't see coming produces a particular quality of resistance, a tightening, a reaching for the familiar architecture of being ready. But here's what the tightening is protecting you from, alongside the loss, alongside the disruption. It's protecting you from the surprise of something good, from the specific disorienting experience of being caught off guard by something you wanted, of having something arrive that doesn't fit the scenarios, because it's better than the scenarios, because it's larger, because it's more real, because it requires, in order to be fully received, the part you've been keeping back, all of it, not most of it. Not the prepared part, not the held together part, all of it. The part that hopes without announcing it, the part that wants things it hasn't said out loud, the part that is underneath all the preparation, still capable of being surprised, still capable of standing at the threshold of something with no scenario for it and no exit mapped, and saying, yes, whatever this is, yes. That capacity, the yes without the map, is still in you. It hasn't been prepared out of you. It's just quieter than it used to be, waiting in the same gap where the unexpected lives, in the space between what you planned for and what actually arrives. And tomorrow, or whatever tomorrow represents in your story right now, is moving toward that gap, toward that space, toward the part of you that still knows how to be surprised, that still knows how to receive something without immediately processing it into safety, that still knows, somewhere underneath all the preparation, how to just be there for whatever comes without the armor fully on. And you won't see it coming. That's true. By definition, it's the thing outside the scenarios, outside the preparation, outside the careful architecture of everything you've built to keep the unexpected manageable. You won't see it coming, but maybe, just maybe, that's the point. Maybe the version of tomorrow that changes everything is specifically the one that couldn't have been prepared for, the one that arrives in the gap, the one that finds the part of you that isn't braced, that finds the quiet wanting, the private hoping, the one part kept back just in case, and asks it gently, without warning, to come forward. And that part, the one that's been waiting in the back, might be ready, more ready than you think, more ready than the preparation would ever have made it. Because readiness for the unexpected doesn't come from more scenarios. It comes from just slightly loosening the grip on the plan, on the map, on the version of tomorrow you've already constructed, and making room, just enough room for the one you didn't. That room, that small, unplanned, unmapped space, is where everything changes. Not in the preparation, not in the scenarios. in the gap, in the quiet, in the part of you that stopped running the scenarios long enough to feel something arriving, something real, something unplanned, something for you. Already on its way, already closer than the preparation knows